Yeah.
Now. Oh, boy.
Are we live now?
This is the bane of my existence when I come into this room.
You actually worse at than you are, Shannon. Crazy.
All right, all right.
Okay, it is now 5:32. I'm calling the March 19th, 2026 Community Services Advisory Board meeting to into session. First thing is we have roll call already. You know who we are? Who's here?
You want to do roll call?
Well, no, but I mean, I think we have a quorum.
We do have a quorum.
Meeting minutes is the first thing, or public comment, sorry, public comment is the first thing. We don't have anyone here.
No public comment.
Nobody online.
No, what? Participants. Oh, there's Kyle. Are you gonna second? Promote to panelists. Promoting you to panelists to the both of you. Oh, now you're not alone up there, Shelby. Everybody. There we go. Oops, where'd I go?
Declined.
Did he decline? Okay. Hello. Can you hear us, Councilmember Lindholm?
He is muted.
I'm gonna promote him again to panel. There we go. All right. You go and I will, all right, so going to the minute. No.
Okay, meeting minutes, we want to review the meeting minutes from February 19th. We know if we have a motion.
Motion to approve meeting minutes.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
A second.
Any discussion?
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. New business, we have Jeff Gum here, talk to us about CBDG home annual action plan presentation.
Like I said, Shannon says I've got like an hour and a half to talk, so it's gonna be great.
I got the hook.
Not everybody's smiling.
The Gong Show. She told me that she's got a hook and she'll pull me out if I talk too long. So basically, I just wanted to kind of come and this is like my rubber chicken circuit kind of time. So CDBG and home every year in February to May is kind of when we get going with CDBG home funding. It goes to council, it goes to public hearing, all kinds of advisory boards, and just kind of trying to find out and make sure that everybody knows where we're at, what we're doing, and if we're on the right track. So we started this year on February 24th. We did a public hearing. There was a number of people at that public hearing. Most of the comments for the 2026 annual action plan were focusing on housing, housing for elderly, housing for seniors. There were some youth housing initiatives that they were thinking, and most of it was related to like deposits and first and last and the kind of the big barriers to get into housing. There was a request from Tillicum Community Center, potentially, assuming that they're going to apply, to use either $10,000 or $20,000. I don't remember. I don't know that it was nailed down.
I'll say 20.
Somewhere in that ball. It was, I think it was originally 10,000 was that they were looking for an audit of their current operations. The reason being Tillicum Community Center wants to do an application to Commerce for $200,000 or $400,000 for improvements to the center, which is kind of the same thing that we did with CDBG 2002, I think, somewhere way back when. We did the siding and the roofing, and it is a time, 20 plus years. So, but in order to do so, they need to do a audit of their books, and they need to do a survey of the building. So what are the timelines for siding, roofing, kind of the whole figuring out of what the maintenance of the building is and what are the timelines for that. So they got some money from Milgard. So I think Milgard gave them $50,000 to do the building survey, figure out the maintenance needs, and now they're just looking for the 10,000 for CDBG. It's not in the proposed allocation because there's no proposal yet to do it. So if it does come to fruition, my thought would be to use admin dollars because admin dollars don't require all of the reporting and requirements and so forth that go along with it. So it would be an easier lift for the Tillicum Community Center to accomplish. And it's something that we can make work fairly quickly. It's also easier for environmental reviews for me, which is what I always like to do, make things easier for me. It makes it easier for the center and everybody. So, but the 2026 annual action plan, I mean, most of you guys have kind of seen this process. So it's a plan that's required by HUD. We have to do it once a year. We do a 5-year plan every 5 years. So there's this big umbrella every 5 years. We just did it last year. And then every year inside of that 5-year period, we do a 1-year plan. And basically we're just allocating and deciding what we're going to spend the funds on, how we're going to reach our goals, what our goals are going to be, those types of things. So this year, it's the second year of the plan. So the 2025 to 2029 5-year plan is kind of the umbrella plan that we're working under. It set 4 goals. They really didn't change from the last 5-year plan cycle. We just kind of tweaked the names and made them a little bit more broad so we can do a lot more different things. So we're working in year 2. We're still in year 2 going to be focusing primarily on housing services. So major home repair program, emergency assistance for displaced residents program, emergency payments program, and then admin of home housing. So that's kind of what we have done probably for the last 5 or 6 years. We've had really good response and really good results from the emergency programs that we've had out there. So when we've closed buildings down, we've not made people homeless, and we do that a lot, especially with like dangerous and nuisance buildings. With rental housing in the last couple of years, when we were doing rental housing, knew there was a lot of buildings that were closed. So we were using those funds to keep people from becoming homeless and moving them elsewhere. So there's a little bit less of that. So the funds have been kind of decreased in those programs. And now I'm focusing a little bit more on the major home repair. Major home repair is for single family owner occupied maintenance, basically. So low income households, they're primarily single, elderly female households, about 80% of what we do. And they're most of them are living on Social Security or very fixed income. So going in and fixing kind of everything on their house that needs to get done. The bad thing is we went from, say, 8 to 10 years ago to be able to do a house for probably $55,000 to $60,000 to 110 now. So we're doing the exact same thing that just costs us twice as much to do it. So when we're looking at the allocations for 2026, we're looking at about 480,000 in CDBG, which is almost exactly the same number as last year, a little bit less. Last year was 482,320. And home is $250,000, 250,503 is what the exact number is. And that's the exact same number from last year. So the actual allocations, major home repair, we're looking at spending $412,719.83, which sounds like a lot, but that's really for projects. So it doesn't go that far. If we can do a single roof, or if we could do some electrical or windows, maybe we get 7 out. I'm hoping we can do 7 because that's what my proposed number is. But even a roof now is $26,000 when we're doing roofs. It's just insane. We're looking to spend $25,000 on emergency assistance for displaced residents. Looking to help 30 households, $10,000 on emergency payments program. 16 individuals would be assisted, and then CDBG admin of home housing services is $12,000. And that's basically just admin dollars that we have to use to run the CDBG program, because Tacoma takes all of our home admin dollars as part of the home consortium. So, and then we usually use 20% for admin. So admin would be $96,000 based on the $480,000 allocation. The plan's proposing to fund affordable housing for home in the amount of $225,453. The balance goes to Tacoma for admin. So that goes into one pool that we use, and it usually gets drawn down about every 2 or 3 years. So we can build up a little, because you can't build much for $250,000. So after about 3 years, we've got $600,000 or $700,000, and then we're able to use it for Habitat or Homeownership Northwest, Homeownership Center Northwest, or whomever else applies. LAHSA was the last one that we did. I don't know if any of you have seen the LAHSA project. They're getting close.
Yeah.
So they've got 2 buildings that are almost done. Well, not almost done. From the outside, they look almost done. From the inside, they're not there. But the other one is, it's almost to the point where they're gonna start putting siding and roofing on it. So this summer, project will be done and they'll have 26 new affordable housing units, which is like one of the only ones we've ever done in Lakewood. So that was like a 6 or 7 year project to kind of bring it to fruition and get all the partners on board and buy all the property. And it took a while. There was buy this parcel and spend our home funds, and 5 years later, buy this parcel and spend our home funds, and then bring it all back together. So it's kind of challenging. But the plan going forward, it goes to 30-day citizen review, as we always have had, April 1st to April 30th. Goes back to council for a public hearing on April 20th, and then it goes to HUD on April 15th. So Tacoma is doing the exact same timeline right behind us. I think they're one day behind us. So that's kind of where we're going with home. Nothing like, home or CDBG, nothing like earth shattered or kind of deviating from what we have done. That we're, like I said, we're in the second year of the 5-year plan. In the last 3 years of the plan, I anticipate there's 2 road projects that we're looking to do in 2028, 2029. So one of them's in the Tyee School District neighborhood. There's no sidewalks and stuff around that school, so we're going to do that. And the other one is on 84th and Pine Street, so kind of in the northeast corner, sidewalks and street lighting improvements and so forth. And that little, about a block and a half section of road, with $250,000, we actually find small projects. So that's what we're looking to do, and that's where I'm at. Didn't take an hour and a half. Unless you'd like me to keep going, I have lots. I can go off lots of good things.
With a bunch of dad jokes.
Loans.
From loans, we get back about $100,000 in program income, pretty close. Last year we received, trying to remember what program made, 77,000 last year. The year before we got back just over 100,000. This year, right now, we are at about, I just put that number into the computer, 67 or 68,000. And we've got another 4 months to go. So we'll probably be very close to 90 when this year's done. So it tends to be pretty close to that every year. And every once in a while, somebody will sell their house, and when we get paid back, so then we have a giant chunk seems like about every 7 or 8 years, we end up with like 150,000, 140,000 paid back. So somebody has paid us back. And as we go, the timeline is all those houses, we've been doing this for 24 years now. So a lot of those are starting to mature. Some of them are starting to pay back, and some of them are on payments. So yeah, there's about $3 million in outstanding loans that we have that are out there. So as they churn through, we'll end up, ultimately this program will kind of become a self-supporting program. So
it took 5 years for the 26 units with LASA. Are there any more like in the pipeline now for more affordable housing in the same manner, or no?
not for like rental units, no. We kind of, I wouldn't say we like used everything that we have, but Lakewood being a small jurisdiction, I mean, we have to bring together that one. We brought together the state, we brought together the federal government, and then Pierce County and us. And it's kind of hard to do that every year, every couple of years. I mean, we had our state representative go in and get us money directly from HUD, and it seems like about every 4 or 5 years is kind of what the cycle could be. I mean, if you go back in and ask, and they see you got money last year from the federal government, you're probably not going to get it next year unless you're Houston or Seattle or something like that. So it takes us a while to do those ones, and we don't really have that many nonprofits out there doing it. It was kind of nice to have LASA out there doing it. Pierce County Housing Authority but they just changed their executive director again. They just liquidated like $100 and some million worth of property they're working on.
Yeah, I've got Barbara Hills, right?
Yeah. So Pierce County Housing will probably come back in the next probably 2 or 3 years, see who their new executive director is and how they run and how they go, and then maybe partner with them in the future. But I think they're gonna come back with some big projects probably. Hopefully.
Any questions for our esteemed housing manager?
Title now.
No questions? Questions up top? Where? We keep losing our council person. Okay.
We went away.
Shelby, Kyle, do you, either of you have questions for Jeff Gum? No. Anyone here? Okay,
All right,
thank you.
I will leave you to Shannon's giant presentation.
Eric's gonna take us through it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah. A lot of work. We just make the slideshow this time.
That's true. I brought nothing this time, didn't I? No
Yeah.
cookies, no slideshow, no
Would
nothing.
have been the fourth time I've seen the slideshow. I
And
think.
Jeff likes to cook and bake, so maybe one day.
Next time.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, next is review and discuss revisions for the 2027 Human Services Applications and Rating Tool. I did have one thing that I noticed, now I can't find it. On the application itself, not on the rating tool. Page. Which ends earlier. What do I do with it? Find it. Printed it, no, I can't find it. Does everybody have a copy of this already? Hard copy or no?
yeah, I gave hard copies in all the packets.
I can refer to the page number.
Yeah,
On page 6, question number 7, it says, how does your program support the strategy you selected? And I kind of thought I should say one of the 5 program areas listed on the page 1 of this application. So it's referring, because I think that's what it means, right?
Yeah, it
How
goes,
does your program support?
one of the program areas.
Yeah, so I thought that wording it, one of the 5, I'll give this to you so you'll have
Yeah,
it.
okay.
One of the 5 program areas listed on page 1 of this application. So it's referring back to one of those program areas. I know when I was writing the grant, I was confused, what was this, what did strategy mean? I wasn't really sure where to go, and I found it back at the beginning of the application, so
okay,
that's the only thing I saw on this.
okay.
Does
Let's,
anybody
yeah,
have
let's just go around the table, because what I'm gonna do is create the word minutes. Okay, page.
So that's question,
Page
question
5,
question
question
7.
7,
Was it page 5? Okay.
page 5, question 7.
You, okay,
I'll give you that. That's the only one I saw.
for the application?
Yep.
Okay, so let's do the application first, then we'll go into the rating tool. Okay, let's just
Can I
go.
have, one recommendation? Maybe we can do this upfront, I guess. I noticed that the, categories between the rating tools and the application are a little bit different. Is there any way we can make them match? Like, for example, on the category, on the final score, right? Yeah.
How about if we go
Oh,
to
maybe
the
at the end.
application first, just because I'm taking minutes and
Oh,
if
okay.
everybody's shouting and we're going all over the place, it really makes it hard for me to. So Darren, that's all you had on application?
That's all I had now. Anybody else have anything on the application?
Denise, do you have anything on the application?
No, I'm just looking closely at question 11.
Question 11.
Yeah.
Lori,
Yes.
do you have any?
Yes, I do.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Page-
question 10, page 7.
Page 7 to 10, okay?
I was just wondering about rewording it. Do you incorporate client feedback in your service model? Explain how, as opposed to how do you incorporate it? We just went through and redid all our forms in the VA.
Uh-huh.
I don't know why, but since I was doing those, I did this one too. I just thought, oh, reword it.
So I
Doesn't
would
change
like
it.
to reflect back to our last meeting where we talked more about doing open-ended questions and assumptions rather than do we all as a board still agree? Because I don't want to deny Lori's changes, but I do recall that was a conversation last meeting.
That was a conversation, and all of the other questions that are the open-ended, they all start with how does or how do or how will. So I would say we should leave it as is.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm not hard and fast on any of these.
Was there a requirement for you changing it at the VA?
Yeah.
or-
I don't,
And it was a maybe federal or something, because,
I don't know.
no?
I never know. I just type.
Oh, you're not gonna have to worry about it anymore.
No, I don't. I just have to get it
Um,
turned in
okay.
before I'm gone. Okay, and then I've got two more.
Okay,
On page 11, number 17.
Okay.
Since this was in a packet, I don't know how it looks when you have it online. But it says, funds will be used based on the categories listed above. It might just be cleaner to say in number 16. Because does it show as above when it's online, or does it turn a page?
it's going to be,
Oh, question 16 and then 17.
I see what you're
as
saying.
above.
Okay, and I think I will change that. They should be listed. I think we're talking about, wait. We're talking about the priorities again, or wait, budget narrative provided clear how funds will be used on the categories listed above. Yes, which is the grant request.
Right, but like when it comes.
I
packet
see
form,
what
it's
you're
not
saying. I will
above.
put on there,
In question
Grant.
16.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay,
Okay,
Just listed above in question 16.
yeah.
That
Okay.
running in there.
gotcha.
Okay, then on 18. If you are not funded the requested amount, I just feel like we ought to put the word for. Funded for the requested amount, then there needs to be a comma.
Okay.
That it's not words properly.
Now,
Okay,
cool.
that was it.
Okay, got you. Thank you. Those are simple. All right, Jerry, what changes for the application might you have for me, my friend?
I don't really have a change right now. The only thing that I would like to recommend is to match the like I said again, the rating tool and the application format, the categories. I think they are similar, but I think if we just use one, I think it'd be a lot easier. Like for example, the first one, right, program design and community need. The rating tool
Uh-huh.
and the application, it said question 6 and 7 is summaries of services coordination.
Oh, you're right.
Maybe we can make those two categories, I guess, will be a lot
So
simpler.
split them up, are you saying, or?
Or either make them the same, you know.
Make the.
I see what you're saying.
Use
Oh,
Use the
okay,
same words.
Yeah.
okay. So use the same words. So
Yeah.
those are not, those are
If
not,
we use program design and community need on the
Gotcha.
the rating tool, right? We should use that on the application
Yep.
also.
okay, I got you. Should be application and rating tool. Okay, and I'll go through and check for other discrepancies and make sure that they are. Yeah, that could be confusing. I understand what you're saying.
And I believe that before question number 15,
Mhm.
that category should be organization capacity.
Instead of infrastructure.
Right.
Cool. Got you. Okay. Anybody else? Okay, that, yeah, kind of goes along the same with, Okay.
Maybe I'll start from the top. Question number 8, right?
yes.
The category that we use on the question of the application is service coordination partnership, right? And then the rating tool, we have collaboration and coordination. Either one, I guess we could use them.
Okay, so what I'm gonna put in here, Jerry, is recommend matching the rating tool and application format changes. Shannon will check all,
Headings, question head.
heading prior to on draft. Okay, match, cool, okay.
And I think last one point, I think the council member, I guess when he was here, he was recommending that the points on those questionnaires should be added in there too. Maybe a good idea.
On the application.
Yeah, on the application.
So they should be listed as how many points it's worth.
Right.
I do remember him saying that, or
Right.
in a way, yeah, when you was saying making
think
the
it's
rating
good.
tool available, so we're not surprising people. Okay. Cool.
Business license, do you think we should see their business license? It's required.
Interesting.
Maybe a good idea.
Isn't it one of the, it may not be one of the required docs until if they get awarded, then we ask them to spend that money to, because some of them are outside of Tacoma, I mean, outside of Lakewood. Do we,
I think upfront.
it's,
Yeah, we don't
or
want them to
proof that
waste-
they've applied for one?
Well,
Well,
you know,
that's their
they
tax.
gotta have a business license to do the job, right?
I think that creates a barrier
It
when you,
does create a barrier.
Oh, I see.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if we're not gonna award them money, then
Why do
they're
they spend
out
money?
that money. They're out the fees that they
Okay,
paid.
that's good.
But what I'll do in there is, if you are awarded, what do you think about this? If you're awarded, proof of city business license is required within 30 days
30
of you
days.
being told of your award? Yeah,
Can you-
okay.
How do you get a 501(c)(3)s? How do you get a 501(c)(3) determination letter without having a EIN number, a UBI
you
number?
can't. So you already have, if you have that determination
You already
letter,
have your business license.
it's like that's adding one layer
Yeah.
that they don't necessarily need, because once they're already established, like on the first page when it says, if awarded, if funded, you must be able to provide this
We're
information.
just assuming that if they provide that, they will have. a
Well,
business
if you have a 501(c)(3) determination letter, you already have a business license to operate.
You have to.
Are you sure? We're assuming.
Yeah.
You
Yes,
have to have.
you can't have one without the other.
EIN number and a UBI number, UBI from the State Department of Revenue, or actually Secretary of State's office. Then you have to have a EIN number, from federal government. To have those, you have to have applied as a business to the state to get those. So the Secretary of State costs you $200. They
Okay,
give you your UBI number, and then with the UBI number, you get your EIN number, and then you can get your 501(c) letter.
but were you saying a city of Lakewood business
That's a permit.
specifically?
Well,
I guess everybody.
Yeah,
You know, you operate a service, you know, you're supposed to have a business license.
okay.
But if we like what they say, that if you require that 501(c),
yeah,
we're just assuming, I guess, that they will have one, but You know.
But if you provide that letter, you've had to have gone through the federal government, got you your EIN number. And to get your EIN number, you have to have your UBI number, and that's the state, Secretary of State. You have to have a business license, and it costs you $200 to get that license.
all right.
And then you have to get insurance, bonding, and everything else, whatever else you have to have for your business.
But
You can
know,
operate
I mean, a
business in
copy
the
of
city.
Business license is not a big deal. All you have to do is just print a copy and boom.
But what's the difference between their 501(c)(3) determination letter and their business license? I can understand if they're not a nonprofit and they're just a business that's operating, they wouldn't have that determination letter. So we would want proof of business.
That's why, well, what's he, right? Is that yearly, annual?
They do have to
Uh,
renew
Is that
that.
annual?
There's, it might be every,
Business
it
license?
is annual. You have to renew that annually.
Annually, you sure?
I'm looking it up right now, but I'm pretty
If
sure
it's annual, then it's okay.
you have to pay on it every year.
I don't know about the,
Because there's a lot of businesses out there that their license is
Yeah.
not up to date.
yeah. I think you lose your nonprofit status if you don't file the proper paperwork with the state and the feds. We just filed ours. We do it through our tax person. But sorry, this community center just filed. But if we don't file that, you miss that deadline, then you are no longer a 501(c). And you have to go through the whole application process again. It's a pain. So yeah, I mean, and that's annual. We have to do it every year. Yeah, for the nonprofit that I work with, yeah, every year. The business license, I don't know. I thought my business license when I had it was good for 2 years. When I first got it, but Maybe it is every year. I don't remember.
Annually, I have to file an annual report for my business license.
Yeah.
Plus insurance, I think there's also a requirements for insurance, I think.
It's on here.
Yeah.
Proof of
Okay.
general liability insurance.
Don't we have lawyers that know this kind of stuff?
All right,
I think so.
Yeah.
So what are we doing about the business license? They must,
So should we ask legal at the city and see if we even need it, or if these questions that if they have the 501(c) letter that they're good or not? Should we ask the legal people at the city to find out?
that may be a good idea, I guess, if we have the right to ask them.
No, the answer.
ask Heidi if,
If we need a 501(c) determination letter
We do.
and a business license.
Oh.
Yeah, it's due annually, 501(c)(3).
Well, maybe instead of saying and, we should say or, in case somebody who's applying is not a 501(c)(3).
Mhm.
Yeah.
Or have we given money to nonprofit, to non-nonprofit
we
before?
were supposed to.
Yeah.
No, they don't get to have our money if they're not a nonprofit and they have to
Oh,
have.
okay.
proof.
Yeah, and I think 501(c)(3) is.
Yeah, and a nonprofit or 501(c)(3).
Well, you can ask and let us know.
Okay,
Sure, he's
Well,
got.
for clarification, are we saying that it needs to be on the application that they provide that, or just that funding is contingent on providing that once we approve it?
It says selected to receive. Organizations selected to receive human services funding must be able to, and then the list. So,
Contingent on.
well, they have to provide, yeah, they must provide all of that, otherwise it doesn't get back to you guys. If they don't provide that to me when I review, yeah, so here's what they, yeah, they have to, Internal Revenue Service, tax, they have to get all of these. If they do not, then they don't pass to get reviewed by you. They're
Okay.
considered non-compliant. You have another one, Jerry?
One last one.
Okay.
How about, you think it's important to know the number of people that they have? So that we can determine whether they can do the job that they're telling us that they gotta do.
well, like staff. how many
Yeah.
staff?
I
Right.
think that's on the program budget where we asked that
So
question.
you gotta ask, we asked about the structure, but I think we asked the number of people, right?
Oh, yeah, it's not in the budget narrative in question 17.
It's just the personnel costs. Is that what it's? Number 16?
16 is,
We'll-
yeah,
But that's only if they're asking for
to
money.
pay for
But we
that.
don't know whether or not they have enough staff to do the job when Shannon does the audits.
Right, I mean, I'm not supposed to do, I'm not supposed to, but I would hate for us to look at somebody like Tillicum, who has one or two staff members
One.
right now, and they are being stretched but highly effective because it's the nature of the person that's in that, right? Or with teamwork, the one that we were like, ooh, bad application, but her presentation was great. It's her and her son, and they do have like 4 or 5 individuals that come and help at events. I mean, I'm happy to include that, but I worry that
Are
it might be
creating
taken,
barriers.
yeah, it might be creating barriers
Barriers.
if kind of
Yes, I just-
personal assumptions get into the grading.
I'm just thinking, I'm just trying to match the number of people versus the mission. So.
I can only talk about the nonprofit I'm involved in, and I know that Jesse Black does not do everything. He has a whole team of volunteers that come in
Yeah,
and help with pretty much everything. And he's constantly recruiting folks to come in. Now we have somebody we have some folk coming in from from DSHS, and they're volunteers as well, and they have to do some sort of community service time. And so that's just brand new. And so he brings in a lot of people to help him, but he's only one
Well, yeah.
employee. We have one employee and we're not gonna have 2. I already told him that.
Well, we don't really want to create a barrier. That's the key.
I think we could word it like this. How many staff do you have and how many volunteers do you have?
There you go.
So that way we have a number, you know, but not being a determining factor.
We could call them paid and unpaid.
You
Yeah.
know, it's good to know volunteers.
Yeah.
How many that they have, because that also shows community support.
Yeah, I agree with that. Are you okay with that, Jerry?
Yeah,
Would you put that in the question number 17 then? Is that where you're gonna put that?
17, or what did it say?
17, budget will provide how funds will be used based.
I think question 14. We talk
What
about
infrastructure?
organizational makeup and capacity.
Yes, I think that's.
So maybe we just reword question 14 instead of calling it senior leadership team. How is your board and senior leadership team structure? And how many staff and volunteers serve your organization?
Yeah,
How's that land with folks?
cool.
That'll hit it for sure.
You guys get up there? Okay,
Well, the only issue I would have with that is that if I'm gonna get the grant, then I'm gonna go out and find more people to help me fulfill it, right?
Yeah,
So it's really,
So should we say last year,
currently,
currently?
Yeah, we could say last
particularly
year.
with volunteers, that, you know, I mean, they may have, you know, you never know. I'm not sure it's needed.
yeah.
That could be a question that you ask though when they come in to
That's
give a
right, exactly.
presentation.
that's a good idea. Yeah,
We'll all
You know,
turn
they
and
gotta
look
be
at you,
able-
then you can ask it. to
They
everyone.
gotta be able to explain how they get the job done.
And a lot of that is, you know, in their narrative and then great questions that we asked during their interviews.
Okay.
okay.
So we'll create a barrier upfront. And then when they show up, we'll ask them.
We had some folks last year that application looked one way and scored one way, but then once they interviewed, totally different perspective.
That
Yeah.
was remarkable, wasn't
Yes,
it?
yes,
I
yeah.
agree.
All right.
That's why technically those interviews should be held before we do the ratings.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have a
Interview
a
for the-
comment
We're
about
just
that.
trying to mess this up.
The only reason I think you've not done, even though everybody seems to go through, is I think we were just kind of, but I'm open to change. We were just kind of trying to see, we were interviewing people that were actually had rated high enough on their application so that we didn't have to, but and for those people, which we haven't had any, that fell well below or below our scores, they just didn't get an interview, but I'm happy. But again, we've not had that since everybody's been passed through. So we can, I mean, yeah, we can do
I believe that's what we used to do for
Interview.
CDBG.
Yeah.
Interview potential clients before
okay,
we did the processing.
right on.
Actually, I have that suggestion too.
Shelby,
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a great idea.
okay,
It can kind of gives you a sense going into it and you're not going in blind.
I like it. Old interviews
Wow.
prior
What is it?
to
There be
Final score.
being,
before the update.
yeah, final,
Before the ratings.
Before we score them.
final.
Final
score.
rating.
When we did
Cool.
that for CDBG, people came in with the whole town.
Yeah.
Okay. Like that.
Anybody else on the application itself?
Well, I read these questions like I was filling out an application. And on question 8, I don't know how I would respond to that last sentence. How will these partnerships ensure continuity of care as participants transition between services? How am I supposed to know that?
think that was, we were, if I remember our discussion last time, it was, I think it went along with developing those partnerships and then having more of a warm handoff rather than just like, there you go, and not really following up on if the person that you've helped got the help that they really probably needed.
But that's what this is asking me about.
Read it again, Michael.
How will these partnerships ensure continuity of care as participants transition between services?
Yeah.
So I've got a client and I send it to another service,
Mhm.
all right? I can't ensure that that other service
Right.
is going to go to another service, go to another, make sure that everything, is taken care of.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying.
So instead of ensure, promote continuity of care?
I don't even know why we need that sentence.
Yeah,
in
why
there.
it's needed. Unless we're asking, how do you track or measure the partnership touch points or
Yeah.
like participant referrals? Like, do you have a way to measure, like, what is our goal with asking that question? Are we asking, do they, I know it's open-ended, but are we asking them, do they have a referral pipeline? Are they doing warm handoffs? What's the goal of that sentence?
Well, maybe we want to ask it just like you stated.
Uh,
Do you have and how do you, is there a warm handoff?
Yeah. How do you,
How do you refer clients to other resources?
Well, that. The first part of that question, as far as I think,
Ask that question.
takes care of it.
Yeah, I agree.
Get rid of the last.
how you're collaborate, even link points, okay, such as how to expand and how will these partnerships ensure, okay.
So get rid of from to expand program impact?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about, Michael?
Mhm.
Well, what I had,
No, that and how will these, I think, is the part of the sentence.
how will be, that's the part that,
Okay,
Okay.
get rid of it
Yeah.
now, well, okay.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Agreed.
Good looking out.
and I
And
had
there
one,
needs to be a question mark.
After
Yes.
impact.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
the question 11.
Okay.
Yeah, how will your program ensure accessibility, including low barrier, entry, flexible service hours
Long question.
and geographic reach across urban, suburban and rural communities? What the hell is that?
11, how will your program ensure accessibility, including labor, flexible service hours and geographic reach across urban, suburban and rural communities? Well, also, I think that's for us to make sure that, like,
Can you say economically distressed areas
I like
versus
that.
geographic reach across urban, suburban, and rural communities?
That works.
Economically distressed
I get the
areas.
urban and suburban, but why are we looking at?
Rural, yeah,
communities
we don't
where
really
that's
have
not
rural.
us.
We don't have rural.
In fact, we don't actually have suburban either. We are urban.
Mhm.
Reach across, so what, I say we get rid of those, and what had you said?
Economically distressed communities or areas.
Distress,
Probably pluck this question from that other application, maybe.
We did.
we
Yeah.
did,
County
economically
grant.
distressed and,
Economically distressed areas or
okay,
communities.
areas or communities. Is everybody good with that one?
Cause that question's really long.
Yeah.
We have a map that's identified those areas economically,
We do have those.
yeah.
CDBG shows it all the time.
Yeah.
Except this year,
Huh?
except this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which communities in Lakewood
Lakewood,
Right.
are
economic.
poor.
We like to say
Lake
economic
City and,
district.
Do we, well, have you seen it?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
You know,
Maybe a good idea to see that, yeah.
yeah,
I don't know
absolutely.
that.
All right, what's the other one?
I don't have, what?
Does, you have just question
I'm
11,
done.
Michael?
I'm
So we
done.
had question 8 and question 11. Do you have
I'm
those?
done.
All
What
right.
else is there?
Up top, Shelby.
Of course, I have something. Actually, this is just a readability suggestion. I do this all the time too when I'm like interviewing people. I'm like, here's one interview question, but it's like 5 questions in one. So I'm proposing that but when there's like multiple questions in a question, we just bullet it out so it's easier for readability. So that would be number 6. Number 9.
Number
Number
6, summary of
12.
services. Maybe question 8 shall be
Number
The-
6.
instead of 6, service,
Yeah.
service coordination and partnerships.
6 has 3, 1. 6 has 2 questions. I'm just saying anytime
Read
there's
it
a
to us.
question, just bullet it.
Provide a detailed
Like-
description of the program services to be provided.
You might be looking at 2
I think
different
you're looking-
questions.
I'm
document?
looking at the summary of services. It's labeled on 6 on the document I'm looking at.
Can you read the question to us?
Sure.
Oh,
Provide a detailed description of the program services to be provided. How
I,
does your proposed
go ahead, sorry.
program expand community-based services in Lakewood? What specific needs or service gaps does your program address?
I might-
So I'm saying all 3 of those would be
By the box.
bullet
I think
pointed
it-
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so proposes that,
Full of the list.
yes, proposes bulleting 8, 9, and 12. All right, I got you. I think the printing
6.
here didn't.
6,
6,
6, 8.
6, 8.
8, 9.
I don't think it printed. I mean, I think the box got it away. So she's reading the original. Okay, 6, 8, 9.
12,
Okay,
13, 14. And I think the only other thing is that 14 should have a question after for that second sentence, a question mark instead of a period. But that was all I said. I think it'll just help with readability, and if I'm going through and answering like drafting my responses, I'm like, okay, I wrote that question, I take that one off. I think it'll be easier for us in reviewing it too.
Yep.
okay,
But that's really it.
Cool. Write it too.
yeah. Thank you, Shelby. All right, Kyle.
Shelby just touched on my whole thing is readability and being able to, we're rarely on the same page, obviously.
All right. Let's move to the
Grading tool.
rating tool.
I had a suggestion on the rating tool. If I can start with the.
Yeah, we'll do the same thing. Okay,
So. What I did was I went through the questions that were like 15-point questions. For example, question number 8 is 15 points. I thought it might be easier for us to rate each of the, by the way, I love what you did. The rubric is awesome. Excellent, good, satisfactory, limited, not addressed. I love the point system. Or the actual rubric that goes along with it, the scoring sheet. But I think that maybe we should go with 0 for not addressed. Limited should be 1 point, satisfactory 2, good 3, and excellent 4. And that way, when we're rating these, when you have a range of points, like right now for question number 8, it says excellent 13 to 15 points. It just makes it more challenging to try and figure out, do I assign this a 13, 14, or 15? Whereas if it's just a 4 or a 3 or a 2, it's all you're doing is you're breaking down then did they address these standards, and you assign a point score to it. To me, this is my teacher mode coming out and evaluations of teachers. It's a lot easier to do this way than it is to do, ranges of points for each category. And we have a bunch of questions. We have a lot of questions that we have to rate. And we do a lot of applications. So I just thought that, it might be quicker for us to do it that way. So I was thinking any of the questions that were 15 points to assign them down to 4, and to take a lot of the other questions too that are really high and bring the point system down so that it's just not this huge range of points. I don't think we have to have 100 points assigned to this entire application.
Well, I think one of the things that having more points does is I got frustrated last year when there were things I really didn't like. So I scored them accordingly. And then there were things I really did like. And they were like within 5 points. And I felt very differently about the two. And I think the only way to make that visible on a scoring sheet is to have
More
more variable, maybe not 4 points in everything, maybe 3 or 2 points. Like, did they do it? Well, they address it. Well, they address it really well. So they get the higher point, just so you've got a little more room so you can see the things that didn't excite people and the things that weren't clear versus somebody who did a great program, a great job. But I mean, there's scores right next to it. It's ridiculous. It was ridiculous last year.
And I do agree with that. So I was kind of torn by all this. So I spent a long time editing this, trying to figure out how to do it. And it's like, I see that too.
Right.
Last year or the 2 years ago when we did this, it seemed like my scores were all like 41, 42, 43, no matter what the application was.
Right.
The scores were all the same when I totaled them all up, which was very frustrating. So I'm okay with leaving it the way it is. What I would say is for sure, I think on the rating tool, each question needs to have its own scoring.
Yeah.
So it's not combined, like 6 and 7 being combined and 8 and 9 being combined. I don't remember the exact numbers, but having different questions combined into one score. We should answer the person that's applying should answer the question and we should score that question. We should move on to the next question.
Okay,
We really feel pretty strongly about that. Is not mixing the questions up.
anybody else agree or disagree?
Agree.
Agree, everybody agree?
And the last thing I had to say, if we don't change the scoring sheet, which is fine with me, I'm actually really okay with that, is the last kind of thing I put on here was the interview. And I thought that we need to include the interview and maybe a rubric for that for us when we're, maybe a question for the interview. And then a scoring system for that. And I do think that the interview needs to be worth some points. That's where you get to shine. If you are good, if you really wrote this and you're the one sitting down, you should be able to talk. And that interview should be pretty important to you. But I think it shouldn't be like 5 points or 10 points. It needs to be a significant number when we're scoring these. That's my opinion on the interview part. So some people don't interview very well, but you've had a chance to write the whole application. You should be able to speak to whatever it is you're trying to do really, really well.
I mean, is the interview separate points or do we have the opportunity to go back and re-rate? And once we have some of those clarifications, it's like if I learn more about question 2 and all of a sudden I go, okay, now I understand that better and I can score it higher. I personally, I feel like if we let things hinge too much on the interview in terms of adding extra points, then rather than being able to go back and adjust our score, that's kind of my thought.
Well, I thought the idea was to do the interviewing before we did the scoring,
Yeah,
so we wouldn't have to go back. And
But how-
in that case, we could get assigned some kind of a score to the interview. I mean, I don't see any harm.
Like 60, 40.
But
40%
we have
interview,
like
60
all of
interview.
interviews we need it. Like if somebody really,
I think it needs to be one. It needs to be one application. It needs to be, you answer this piece of paper, this document, and then you also interview with us, and then we combine our scores, we share them with Shannon like we did in the past, and then we sit down as a group and we discuss. And that's a great opportunity for like Kyle. I agree, because there were some questions where I went back and revised my score because their answer got better than what they wrote down, and some didn't.
what if we do both of them differently? Because I feel like what they answer is what they answer. right? You know what I'm saying? Like, if that's, I think they should be judged on the application. So those scores, and then I think they should be, judged separately on the interview. And what about just taking those two scores and like getting the median of those two scores, and that's their final score?
I just feel like for me, some people interview very well.
Yeah.
Very outgoing people interview
Yes,
very well.
absolutely.
And they can smooth their way through an application really easy. And some people are good at writing answers to this kind of subject.
Yeah.
They actually hire professional grant writers. I think some of our organizations actually have professional grant writers. They're really good at this.
Oh, yeah.
So to me, it needs to be one thing. And at the end, we're scoring each entity based on their application and their interview. And then we sit down and we discuss.
I changed my mind about scoring the interview because of what you just said.
Really?
Because you've got people that can sit up there, you know, politician could talk your ear off. And you get somebody like me who might stand up there and stutter and spit and whatever and not get anything out. I think it ought to be judged on the application. The interview should be finding out if there's anything different that we should know about, because that's what happened last year, Shelby, right? I mean, there was something different in the interview that
Yeah.
wasn't spelled
That's
out in the
true.
application. So I don't think we should score the interview.
So then should we do the interview second then? Because we really need, you know, I feel like if you're gonna do the interviews first, everyone should be asking this, given the same question to answer. But if we're doing interviews second, we would probably have interview questions tailored to like gaps that they had in their application so that we could learn more. So I think it's a fundamental like decision of, are we doing it first or second? Because that will determine what we're wanting from it. At first, I thought, yeah, let's do it first, get a good sense from them. But there are times where there were gaps in their application, and the interview was an opportunity to really get a better sense for those missing answers. So now I'm kind of changing my mind and saying, go back to what it was.
Well, but I think from my standpoint, I think that we don't submit our scores to Shannon before the interview process. I think we have it. We have the opportunity to clarify, change our score personally, and then submit. So we're not, you know, I think doing both would be a lot of work for Shannon. And I don't know that there's value in that personally. So I think, you know, and maybe the scoring tool, obviously the scoring tool that we share out, maybe we do a slightly separate one where it's like, or we just have to remember, take notes, like I want to ask about this, and that could change the score, whether it's, you know, a red pen or I don't know, like some method for remembering, I need to ask this question to go get clarification, and that could change my score on X, Y, and Z.
So then.
Oh, yeah, you fill out the application in pencil first, and the little star next to the question you want to ask on the interview or whatever, something like that. That makes sense, Kyle.
So HR people that I've worked with in the past, they don't like open-ended interviews. Typically you want to ask the same 10 questions of each applicant, because if you don't, someone could say that it wasn't an equitable interview process. And number two, because it does impact potentially the scoring we've already done. And number two, if someone were crazy enough to ask some stupid questions, like things like pregnancies or other really, really non-permitted questions, those can come up. The HR people typically do not like open-ended questions. They like a set of questions. You stick with those set of questions. You ask each of the organizations the same set of questions. You don't do follow-up questions. That's been my experience as a school leader.
That doesn't apply here.
Well, I mean, the equity stuff definitely applies. I mean, all the protected classes that, you know, we actually fund some of these folks. If you ask a question that's not a question you should be asking, you can get yourself in trouble.
I hear what you're saying. What if we went through the application and asked those questions? So they're basically walking us through their vision for their application, and we rate after that conversation. like everybody takes the time to rate after that conversation. Might happen, the interview process might be a little bit longer of, maybe it's 5 people are interviewed on this month, the next month, 5 more people are interviewed. However, so that way we're asking the questions that are in the application instead of creating a new set of questions, because I think we're making it a little bit more challenging
Yep.
than it needs to be.
So wait.
Well,
you
yeah, I
said-
mean, I don't think we're asking different questions necessarily. It's like, if I want clarification on, you say this is how you are ensuring continuity of care, and I don't quite understand your answer in the application, then I can ask for that clarification. It's not going away from what the application is saying.
Right.
It's just saying, I would like some more information on that.
Yeah.
So, and maybe I'm wrong, but well, I'm just gonna stop there.
Oh, fine. Oh,
And to Darren's point, I think it is great, like if there was an a non-biased training that we took prior to doing interviews and applications, I think that's totally reasonable. But I hear what you're saying about not asking wild questions. I don't think
We want
anybody
to
has
ask
to-
questions that pertain to the application.
Yeah,
We don't know that we're
That's
gonna get
gonna
off.
be a time consuming process
Yeah.
if we ask every applicant every question.
I think we just ask only our criteria to keep it equitable. I'd say maybe we ask everyone one question, like, give us your elevator pitch. And then we ask follow-up questions, but the questions that we ask follow-up questions are directly like expand upon the answer that you already gave here. So that like it's not new, we're not creating new questions, it's from the application itself. But it's merely just for clarification, and some won't need it, but some will, and it's an opportunity for us to actually make it more equitable for them to have a chance to clarify if we think it's like a low answer. Does that help make it feel a little bit more equitable, Darren?
Yeah, I mean, I've been in a lot of the black box of hiring someone is the interview, and if you don't keep careful notes. And if you ask follow-up questions, I've been in interviews where we were challenged by an applicant. And it was horrible. It was horrible. Sitting in front of the lawyers for hours was not fun.
Jerry,
At
what
all.
were you gonna say?
I was just gonna make a comment.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a good idea to ask ourselves, what is the purpose of the interview?
Mhm.
We already have the application, right? What we want to know about them, what they're gonna do. And now we gotta have an interview. What is the purpose of that interview? Are we gonna challenge his talent, or is he gonna explain again what's on the application, or what is the purpose of that interview?
I think the elevator question is a good question. Like, that's what the first question to answer, right? The 6, I think it is. Explain your program. I think that'd be, if we just picked out a couple questions out of the entire thing. Explain your program, talk about your budget, because that's what we're doing. We're funding these organizations. So if we stuck to those 2 things, they're quick, it's easy to get a chance to answer. We move on to the next applicant.
Yeah.
Okay, so
What do you guys think about
So
that?
you're thinking not for the chance to expand on an area if we were thinking that, somebody we're like, oh, what do they mean by their partnerships question? Like, we wouldn't have a chance to clarify that. Cause I think for me, and I think gets to your question, Jerry, the interview process radically changed my opinion on some organizations. Like, I am a very tough grader, I have learned. And I was sitting in these interviews and like went from a subpar, maybe low score to like some of the highest scoring because of the interview, because I really understood what they maybe couldn't convey in words, they could talk through. So sometimes it's really just speaking to people's different talents. Not everyone's a writer. Sometimes it's just talking through your own experience. So I think it was really important for me to have that opportunity and like I almost don't think it's like when you don't really necessarily understand it till you're in it, of like, oh wow, this is wildly drastically different than I thought I knew this organization, but I really didn't.
Yeah. Your idea about explaining your program and explaining the finances or whatever. And then that information is there's going to be a foothold there for you to ask your clarification of an
Yeah.
answer, that you don't like,
Perfect.
right? If you,
Okay.
So,
there's going to
I
be
just-
something
yeah.
said during those two questions that's going to lead
Yeah.
her to ask a follow-up question.
okay, so what have we decided upon?
For the interview, we'll stick with like two questions, maybe the program description, the overview, whatever, the elevator.
Yeah,
Question,
elevator pitch, yeah.
and then the budget question. How are you gonna spend the money? And then that will lead into some of the follow-up questions.
And then
Yeah.
open it up to members to say, I have a question about this.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would be cautious about the questions.
Okay.
Maybe we,
Yeah.
We're all intelligent
before,
human beings that
before
will
we
not ask
start,
inappropriate.
we're not gonna get
not
our
gonna do
hands
that.
slapped by attorneys because we're
not.
asking inappropriate questions. But if there is like, oh, I really have a question about question
Yeah.
8, maybe we share that with the group before we start the interview. So that way, nobody's thrown off,
Yeah.
nobody's asking repetitive questions. We all are on one accord and one page.
Yeah, I'm almost thinking of like, if we could collectively be like, hey, does everyone think was everyone clear on question 8? Do we want to follow up? And then like, when we're asking that follow-up, we all just say clarify number 8. So that way we're not also fielding them 10 different questions. Like we're kind of doing that synthesis beforehand.
Well, yeah, I think so, because if everybody's asking questions, they might have the
We
same
won't have the
question.
time.
The same,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, mhm.
Yeah, I like that
Mhm.
we'll all meet beforehand.
Yeah.
And then there will
Yeah.
be, for each one, there will be those 2 questions that we ask everybody. And then there
Yeah.
will be a succinct number of other questions related directly to the application. Okay.
Yes. And only
And-
related to Darren's point, only related to that application to be protecting.
Think about starting a family.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I've been into so many interviews and I've heard the questions and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, get me out of this room. And I start taking notes because I'm like, I'm gonna be in an interview for this one. I'm writing all my
Is
notes.
that all you have?
That's all I have.
Denise?
I have nothing.
Okay. Lori?
I had a question about why aren't all the sections totals the same, but if we're gonna break them apart, instead of combining 2 questions for a single score everything, maybe my question isn't important, but I mean, the first one is scored 10 points higher than the other ones. And I get that it's an important topic, but I don't know. It was just, I was thinking. And then also, last year, there wasn't a place for me to put the total on the front page of my scoring thing. Can we get a box or
It's
something?
on the back.
On the back?
Look all the way on the back of the,
I know, but when I bring my stuff,
yeah.
it's all with the front page on front. So that
Yeah.
everything's in order.
I just.
So you're suggesting we put the back page on the
Right
front?
there.
Oh, I see what she's saying, yeah.
I mean, I think it would just be,
We can just
What
put it
is
on the
it?
front.
you guys want me to put that on the front? Is
Well,
that what you want? Okay.
Just like
No,
a
that's fine.
box, small box up in one corner or at the bottom, just so it's by the name of the program and
Okay.
like that. And then
Okay.
if we're scoring these and then interviewing with the potential of changing scores, should there be 2 score boxes or are we
I say
okay?
write in pencil.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Write in
That's all.
pencil.
Just in pencil, okay. Okay,
So all we're gonna do is get the final score anyway. We can have the whole thing in pencil all the time.
Right.
okay.
I'll even provide number 2 pencils. No, kidding, I won't.
Jerry's turn.
Jerry?
Well, I wasn't here last year. So, I wanna give it a try this time, I guess, see what happened.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
no changes? You're good?
Yeah, no, I'm good.
All right, Michael,
I'm done.
you're good. Okay, Shelby?
Good.
All right, Kyle. You're good. Okay. So what I've got, okay, all right. I just want to make sure because this would. Well, I want to get back to your score and I'll be perfectly honest with you. To create this, I actually put in our application, my friend chat, and said, come up with a scoring rubric that's similar to what the county had given, that we all liked, that it gave more of us ideas on, excellent,
Right.
I mean, I'm not married to the scores.
No, it's great. I'll leave it.
Okay,
Leave it.
you good?
Yes.
Okay, so we got scores there.
I think we can change next time.
We,
Did we agree not to,
Yeah.
we're not gonna score the interview, though. The interview is just gonna be part of what, we're not
Part
gonna,
of
we're not
the-
scoring the interview separately, right?
Right.
okay,
Is that what we agreed?
We'll fold, yeah, correct, because we'll fold it into like, if there's a weak question, we'll rescore that question.
okay,
Good to meet.
that's what, yeah, okay.
And then to clarify, we decided that each question will get its own score, correct?
Yes. Yeah,
Perfect.
so I'll
Okay.
split up.
That's what I thought, yeah. I think
Yeah.
that'll make it really easier for
Change the
reading.
tone.
That was a good call out.
Change the point total.
Change the point total?
Well, yeah, because
It will
it
change it
says
a
it's
bit.
going to be 100 points
Yeah.
total, but
Oh, yeah.
it
Yeah,
probably
that'll
isn't
change
going
the
to be
total.
that
I
anymore.
see what you're saying. Okay, I got you.
It'll be more.
Make
Yeah.
sure points, okay. Equal, yes. Gotcha,
Max total.
yep. Okay. So
Anything else?
Come on.
our next step, okay, our next step is I will make all of these changes. And we're not going out until June, right? So we've got April and May. I'll make all of these changes. The next meeting, we will bless them. We don't have to, have we not taken these to city council in the past? Does anyone remember
Do we need
taking
to?
the application? I thought.
We did.
Yes.
I checked
very
with,
first
I
year?
checked with Brianna, the city clerk. She's like, no, we don't, because I didn't see it anywhere on the schedule. She's like, no, we don't, just your recommendations. Great, okay. But I remember a couple of years ago where we did take it to them and they all, yeah, anyway, we don't have to.
We've had questions about the application before, so.
Yeah.
they Must have seen it.
Yeah, I remember that. Okay, so then on the next one, I'll bring this back. We will finalize it and then, why don't we look at a scheduling to get this out and develop our questions and interview schedules? Okay,
Perfect.
thank you, everybody. I think that's it. Do you wanna let us?
Have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, let's go.
Second, anywhere second?
Second.
All right.
All in favor?
I,
Bye.
All opposed? All right, motion.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Next meeting is April 16th, looks like.
there, I know where you're coming from. I used to do EEO and ethics investigations at the Boeing Company and teach affirmative action to the new managers.
Oh.
So